Shelley Winter Show, live, local, topical, and relevant. So, this is an interesting story. Did I? All right. Oh, yes, here it is. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So in Florida, right, Republicans redistrict in Florida. Ron DeSantis, they did their thing, and they drew Debbie Wasserman-Schultz out of her old seat, right? So now she has to run in a newly redrawn seat. And that new seat is Congressional District number 10. And this district is a plurality black district, right? It's a District 10 in Florida. So here's the thing. So she's a long time Democrat congresswoman. Long time. Let's kind of forget what we think. You know, if you're a Republican listening to me now, forget what you think of her. Just listen to the story, okay? Because it's a fascinating story that's brewing out there. So her district's redrawn. She has to run for a new district, which has a black plurality. So she is running in that district. And so I don't know if you guys remember Uncle Luke from 2 Live Crew. Uncle Luther Campbell is his name. He's a lifelong Floridian. He's running for that seat as well. And so the community and, you know, the African-American community, they're outraged at Wasserman-Schultz for running against Luther Campbell. Now, there are other people in the race. There's several other people in the race, but he's the big name. He's been talking about it, and people are like, yeah, you know, why, you know, and so the whole representation thing is that we talk about all the time. And so, because in this case, you have 2 Democrats, right? So it's only color, right? That's the representation thing that we talk about. But here's what's fascinating to me. Hakeem Jeffries always endorses his people, his Congress people, and Wasserman-Schultz is on his team, been on his team for a very long time. And so he kind of, you know, his statement was everyone has a right to run where they see fit. They've got to go make their case to the people that they hope to represent moving forward. And that's what I communicated directly to Congresswoman Wasserman-Schultz. And Jeffries then touted Wasserman-Schultz's strong track record of accomplishment. But he said, at the same period of time, I think we all recognize the sensitivities of the moment in terms of an unprecedented Jim Crow-like assault on black political representation. Then he goes on to say, it's an environment that all of us need to be sensitive to as we move forward. So he's kind of hedging his bets. He tells you how great Wasserman-Schultz has been, but he's like, hey, you know, the black people want me to go with the black guy. So I'm just going to say nothing. It's what real politicians do. Not leaders, politicians. But here's what makes this story so funny. Because when I hear Democrats talk about it's about representation, that means you're just going on color, race, or gender, or whatever, but mostly color. We want, you know, black faces in high places. And then when you point out, well, there's a black woman running for governor of Virginia who's a Republican that you guys didn't vote for, then it becomes, no, it's about the issues. Well, in this case, they're both Democrats. And what's interesting, what makes this a story to me and a fascinating story to watch play out, because if you make everything about race, you eventually box yourself into a corner. And this is everything about white race or black race, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you make things about race, eventually you're in a corner because you've boxed yourself in. And here's what is going on here. You've got a long time serving congresswoman on the Democrat side. She's done Democrat things. She is a Democrat. She's got experience. She's got legislative experience. She's been there. And the argument becomes, no, we need an African American in that seat because it's a plurality black district. So you're turning to a very successful businessman in Luther Campbell, whose business was basically made on over the years, basically made on selling sex-driven stripper music to the black community. I mean, that's literally who Live Crew was, stripper music. And that's how he made his money. And I'm sure he's invested and stuff like that. I'm talking about how he got millions. And so you're literally saying, oh, in order to have a black face in a high place, we're going to go with this rapper turned congressperson in his 50s, nearly 60s, over the white Jewish woman who's been there for you for the last several terms in a, straight. Seniority she has, experience she has. So you're going to turn your black plurality district over to Luther Campbell because he's famous and he's got money, but no experience legislatively. Nothing says you should be a congressperson, and you're going to vote for him, and you're going to get mad if no one votes for him because of the color of his skin. Meanwhile, you're not going to vote for Wasserman-Schultz, which I'm not saying I agree with her or anything. This is just about the subject matter here. But you're not going to vote for the experienced legislator who's been there and been on your team and been an ally for decades. That's what happens when you make race your central guiding force. You eventually box yourself into a corner because nobody, and that's just not a shade against Luther Campbell, but nobody in their right mind would say, oh, give me Luther Campbell over the experienced legislator, congresswoman who's been there for decades. No informed voter would ever do that. The Shelley Winter Show. We'll be right back.